am Kate. So a while back, I was talking with a neighbor when the subject of prescriptions and our health came up. And she made a remark I've heard a few too many times. She said, I just don't want to have to take a pill every day for the rest of my life, you know? Again, it's a common sentiment, probably seems like no big deal unless you're saying it to me, someone who does have prescriptions and who likely will take pills daily for the rest of my life. Now, being accidentally insulted is awkward, and I know she meant no harm, so I kind of smiled and nodded, and later I kicked myself because I didn't use that opportunity to talk about medication shaming. But now I have this opportunity, so we're gonna have that interesting conversation tonight instead. So let's start with my neighbor. I mean, obviously she wouldn't have said that if she knew I deal with chronic illness, but she looks at me and she sees the 38-year-old writer who walks to yoga every morning. You can't see rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Now, osteoarthritis is age and wear related, but RA is autoimmune, which means there's no reason for my body to attack my own joint tissues, but it does, and that causes inflammation, pain, and eventually joint damage like this, which I am showing you not to gross you out, although, yeah. I am showing you because as a writer, use of my hands is serious business. And yet when we talk about prescriptions, we often lump them all together as frivolous. We say things that minimize people's symptoms. We glorify not asking for help as virtuous and active and heroic. And whether or not these shaming messages are intended, we, the chronically ill, hear them loud and clear, and there are consequences. Take Holly, who was on the cover of a recent RA magazine. She was 36 when she was diagnosed, but she'd grown up using natural therapies and avoiding doctors, so she didn't always take the pills her rheumatologist prescribed. Within 6 months, her fingers were deformed. Is she a hero now? I think that's what people forget, what life was like before modern pharmaceuticals. Today, there's still no cure. There's still no cure for RA, but we do have medications and injections that work to minimize disease activity and therefore minimize disease harm. Yet in that same magazine, 70% of RA patients say they don't always take their pills. And social pressure is one reason why. That's what happens when we walk through the world like she who takes the least pills wins. We who are chronically ill feel like we're, well, less than. And Boulder, I'm sorry, but no, there's no natural cure for every disease yet either. And anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something or writes for Upworthy. The form this shame takes is usually the have you tried, as in have you tried probiotics? Have you tried acupuncture? Have you tried avoiding nightshades? And on and on. Now, if you've been a have you trieder, I'm not trying to make you beat yourself up. I know you only advice vomit on me out of love. But it's a lot of pressure when people seem to want you to make an Upworthy victory story out of an incurable illness. And when you get the have you tried as much as I do, it begins to feel like you're constantly auditioning for people's compassion and respect. And now I'm not making the opposite argument here, that all drugs are awesome. I mean, Big Pharma is a flaming bag of dog shit, corruption, and greed. We know that they bribe our doctors, they want to give out opioids like candy, and they have earned our distrust. However, lots of people in our community use pharmaceuticals to improve and lengthen their lives. And it's unfair and cruel to label them all as mindless pill poppers. For instance, me, I think of my meds as only one leg of my chair of health. The others being food and supplements, activity, and adequate mental health care. Can we underline that? I think in uber healthy places like Boulder, we tend to forget that we can't out-triathlon mortality. The human body is squishy and weird and ultimately beyond our control. So I want you to know that when, not if, but when your body somehow betrays you, there will always be a chair next to mine for you. I want you to know that you should do everything in your power without shame to live your happiest, longest life. That is heroic too. Thank you.